Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our pre-recorded long run show. This is the award-winning long run show podcast, and tonight we've got a pre-recorded special with Admin, who's currently just got married, which is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've now got a Mr. Admin, and then we've got Speedgate himself, the founder of the Speedgate Running Club, also here. Say hello, Tobe.
Hi.
so You're brilliant. So we pre-recorded this because Admin's getting married, and I've just got back from Valencia. So this week we just thought we'd do a quick 30 minutes because I think it's a good time to do this, and it's called the Ultimate Guide to Marathon Training, right? That's purely for the SEO, for the algorithm. But what we wanted to do, because I'm conscious, and we always base these subjects on what people are talking about in the Facebook group, in the communities that we have, right? And what we've seen over the last week is everybody jumping in on the Chicago Marathon, for example, and signing up for the Yorkshire Marathon for next year. So we thought, you know what? Let's do a sort of, a little bit of a guide, a little bit of a help for marathon training for sort of everyday runners. So not elite stuff or anything like that. It's kind of back to basic stuff. If you're setting on that journey of training for that marathon, maybe some of this stuff will help you if you're training for your second or third, whatever. But yeah, we just wanted to touch that because it is a subject that people are getting into, and I'm sure because this will probably go out, November, December. Some people will even start training for next year's marathon, so it comes around very quickly. All right.
Yep.
So that's what we wanted to get into. So I think just as a sort of overview, I think training for a marathon is huge, right? I think it's a life-changing experience, just the training.
Yeah.
And it requires both physical and mental preparation. Yeah. Everyday runners who's juggling sort of life, family commitments, all that sort of stuff, can successfully complete the marathon training process and race with the right strategy. Agreed, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
In terms of your first marathons, how well would you rate yourselves out of 10, Admin?
What, for the training?
Yeah, focus on training today.
6.
Okay, interesting. We'll come on to that, I'm sure, as we go through. It's just the worst person to have on.
So when did you run your first marathon?
It was the virtual, wasn't it? We ran it around locally, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Was it your first?
Yeah, the virtual ones did.
Oh.
And all I remember is running in it with a bladder pack and not drinking any of the water and ditching it about 18
Yeah,
miles.
we got. Where did we put it, Toe?
Your family were there watching, weren't they? Down
How is it? It was
Abbots.
Yeah.
And I felt so much better after literally ditching 2 kilos of water on my back.
And I wouldn't mind, right? But it was this hydration pack. It made so much noise. It just made you want to go to wee the whole time you was running next to him.
Yeah, I didn't drink any of it. But that was my first. And then my first sort of event was Dorney.
Yeah.
We all know how that went.
Oh, that went really well. That went exceptionally well. So, and that's why he stopped training for these marathons now. If he does a marathon, he doesn't train for it. So look, I think the first thing is, because I want to back through this tonight, setting your marathon training goals. Yeah. Before you do anything, before you get started, it's establishing some form of goal for that marathon, whatever it is essential. I'd say first timers, I think we've said it a million times on this podcast. I mean, you tell them because you know it.
You get around.
Yeah.
You get home safe. That's it.
Finish the race healthy.
Yeah. Alive.
And within the cut-off time. Thanks very much. I'll see you later. I'm done. Drop the mic. Yeah. I think for your experienced runners, you may end up then going, or for your second or third, you may then want to be then looking to run a time or qualify for a race or something like that. So I would always assume of setting a goal for the marathon training process, so you have something inside. But whether that is literally, to finish fit and healthy. I heard a very good one again the other day, which was, I want to run this marathon and I don't want to walk. I want to run it the whole way.
Yeah.
So I think it's really hard to do, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to be extremely tough up here to be able to do that.
Can I just say though, there is nothing. I think people get a bit hooked on like, I've got to run a time, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that. There is nothing wrong. In fact, there's everything right with just going, I'm just going to get around. That's it. I'm going to get home. I'm going to finish 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
Very powerful in saying that. I'm just going to do the job. That's it.
Yorkshire. I was extremely happy with myself purely to get round and finish that race. And Berlin to a degree as well. Berlin was a bit of I wasn't sure how my entry would hold up and the training that I'd done and all that sort of stuff. But Yorkshire, I was there literally. I'm just going to go and have a great time. I'm going to enjoy the course. I'm having a nice time up here in Yorkshire, and I'm just going to get round and finishing healthy, finishing injury free, which is the most important thing for me. So I can then crack on and get back on the saddle when I wanted to. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the next sort of thing that you need to consider, really important, and I'm just going to say this now before anybody thinks this is commercially based. Choosing the right marathon training plan is important. You don't have to go with Cooper. You don't have to use the 40 runs performance coaching that I coach all disciplines. You can get a free plan online. All right. So just put that to one side. This is not what we're intending to do here. I think for somebody who's thinking about doing their first marathon, it's really important to get something that you can commit to. Now, however you do that, whether you want the accountability of a coach shouting at you to say, oh, you need to do this, you need to, or you want something like a Cooper app, and like I said, you get a free trial at 40runs.com, but that will give you that guidance. But the most important thing is for a beginner is to get a plan that you can do something that's like 16, 20 weeks that slowly builds up your mileage.
Yeah. But also that isn't more runs than you can commit to in a week. So if you can only do, and you're only before that doing 3 runs a week or 4 runs a week, you can run a marathon doing 3 or 4 runs a week. It's fine. 3, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be running 6 days a week and double running and doing this, that, and the other, right? So I think that is really important when you look at a lot of the plans. Absolutely. You're like, oh yeah, I'll just take this one. Take one that feels
well, I'm realistic. Not actually, it's a good point. And this is not, I'm going to get shot. I mean, get the legal people ready. This is not I'm not picking on this company because we're aligned with Cooper. That's got nothing to do with this. This is honest feedback I've had from runners that I coach. All right. Is that the Runner app for beginners is quite aggressive in terms of the number of runs and what they have to do within it. That's honest feedback I've had from people that I've taken on.
Yeah.
Is that the Runner app is quite aggressive in terms of what they're asking you to do as a beginner. So be aware of that. Again, you go wherever you want, spend your money wherever you want, but make sure you know what you're getting into is the point. So it's not too aggressive. Like Admin said, you know that you can get 3 runs a week done and you can get in the gym once a week. And that will set you on the right path because you know you could complete that. Don't bite off more than you can chew is the point, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's important. I mean, so my first marathon I was actually training for to ever do was Edinburgh, which was then cancelled due to COVID. And I actually I got a plan offline. I can't remember exactly where it was. Kind of rewrote it. Sounds a bit grand, but changed a few things around. And I had it stuck on my wall at work. Because most of the runs I'd do at work at lunchtime, and I would actually sit there and I'd religiously tick it off every time I did it. But also that brought another aspect to it, which was accountability, because the people at work they saw that plan on there and they knew that what I was doing and what I should be doing, that kind of thing. So you kind of think, actually, I've kind of got to go and do that.
Yeah, absolutely right, Tobe. Do they laugh at you now that you've just got a blank piece of A4 stuck on the wall?
They do wonder what it's for. It just says race at the end. It's blank and
then race. Yeah, just do a little marathon down there.
Yeah.
In terms of intermediate and advanced, again, you're looking. Well, advanced, I would say is probably more to 12 to 16. Like, someone like Ben is running. Like he would do a 12-week program, right? Higher mileage, targeted workouts, double runs in. A lot of stuff. That sort of intermediate mix of long runs, tempo runs. We spoke about it on the last week's show about some of the sessions and things like that, speed workouts, but focusing on those long runs, but like a 16, 18-week plan. I think in terms of a good training plan, to give you some insight, I think 3 to 5 runs a week, depending on where you're at. 1 long run. Yeah, 1 long run. Cross-training days, please. And recovery days. Yeah, really, really important in that plan. That's what you want to make sure that's in there, yeah. And again, that sort of long run peaking at between 18 and 22, depending on where you're at in terms of, your not ability, but your experience. Yeah. So for example, I'll run 22 miles now in the same time that I would run 20 miles a few years ago. So it's all relative. Yeah. But I won't go through 22 miles because I don't need to be on my feet for more than 3 hours. So it's again, that's down to me. Yeah. So it's all relative. Okay. But yeah, I would say if you can pick up on that, that would make sense. Now, talking about the long run, because it is, let's say, the cornerstone of any marathon training plan.
Mhm.
If there's only one run you did a week, yeah, then the long run would be the one that you choose, because you need to build that endurance. You need to train your body to sort of handle that sustained effort over time. Yeah, that time on feet, which is really critical.
I think it's important to mention the long run as well. I mean, and to be honest, I do it in my head. When someone says long run, I think 16, 18, 20, something like that. But actually, a long run's anything from even 6 miles. Do you get what I mean? So it's quite important to realise what that distance is and build it up slowly throughout that plan.
Correct. Progression. Increase the length of your runs. You know, you don't want to be again. It's different if you're sort of experienced, let's say, but you want to be. But even in my experience, I still increase my distance. 1 or 2 miles a week on those long runs. I won't go from 10 miles to 22.
Yeah, you're at risk of injury.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's just stupid. So make sure you watch that. Make sure you watch your pacing on those long runs. Like I always start out on the first sort of 3 or 4 long runs that I do most of them at easy pace in the and as I build up into my plan. First 3 weeks are usually distance of like, whatever, 15 miles, 30 miles, 16 miles, whatever it is. Again, remember where I'm at in terms of where I'm training. But they'll all be at easy pace. So because I'm looking for time on feet more than anything else. And the distance actually is pretty irrelevant. I'm just looking for like 2.5 hours, 2 hours, something like that. Time on feet for me is critical. And I would say the same for you. Get your pacing right as you start. Start slower than your marathon target pace if you're looking to run a time. So, 1 or 2 minutes per mile slower than what your target goal pace is in those easy runs.
I think as well, if you do those first couple of long runs easy and you get to the end and think, oh, actually, I could have gone faster or further or both or whatever, that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a place where those first couple of long runs, you are dead. Your recovery is really hard and you're going, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to ever do anymore.
Yeah.
Mentally, then that's going to hurt you.
I agree 1,000,000%. I think outside of long runs, balancing the speed work and endurance workouts is essential. You'll see in your plan that you'll have some speed work, hopefully, depends on the plan, and you'll have some of that endurance, based work as well. I think tempo runs, we spoke about them again last week, a good one to do. Comfortably hard, we spoke about it. Paige said about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. It's close to your marathon goal pace and beyond, maybe more towards your half marathon pace. Starting 20, 30 minutes, but building up to 60 minutes. And then you've got that interval training. So the short bursts of speed. You want to do that. I mean, in an ideal world, you've got a bit of both of them in there, but they're split up in an ideal world. But again, if you're doing your first, then maybe alternate between 1 week do a tempo run, 1 week do an interval set, and then next week do like hill repeats.
Yeah.
So you're rolling through them. If you're doing a little bit more advanced work, maybe you're putting those 2 in, but you're separating them. So you've got a nice gap. Maybe you've got some easy recovery work in the middle or whatever. You might put both of them in there. And then obviously advanced, you may double run. You may do easy in the morning and then put a tempo run in the afternoon. That's how, you can then build it up. But the balancing the speed, balancing the speed and the endurance workouts is key in the marathon. Because if you're not doing any, you're going to come unstuck. Yeah, you're not going to have the endurance. It will show up at mile 21.
Yeah.
But if you do too much, you're going to run the risk of injury. Right, Tobe?
Yeah, and so and he's taking in all those different elements because it's quite easy to look at a marathon as well and go, it's all about running far. But actually, it's all those elements and different type of aerobic system you're working throughout that marathon that then you pick up and you actually build upon during your different, say, your intervals and your tempos and your hills, as well as the long run. If you don't keep all them in, then your body's not going to actually develop the right muscles and muscle structure to then actually keep you going for that 26.2.
I reckon Tobe's read my mind, which is slightly worrying because that takes me nicely onto cross-training strength work, which we bang on all day long on this podcast. I think it's one of the most other than parkrun, I think it's one of the most things we talk about, and we're probably all bad at it. But in an ideal world, let's say, world being perfect, life's not, complicated. You're doing an element of cross training every week, and you're doing a dedicated strength session every week, right? So cross training, cycling, what Tobe's really good at, swimming, what Tobe's really good at, rowing, which he's doing next across the channel. You're doing that sort of work in terms of cross training. Then you've got your strength training again, which is like focusing, squats, deadlifts, core work, and all that sort of stuff you do in the gym, or maybe you could do a program at home, right? But your focus is building on that strong core, strengthening those legs, the calf muscles, all that sort of stuff, which is ultimately preventing injury, making you stronger, so you're preventing injury. Yeah, go on, Abby.
I was just laughing. Isn't it worrying when Toby technically has probably done more cross training than most other people?
No, it's unbelievable. It's like we said on the last episode, it's almost like he could run a marathon without any training at the moment because he's done so much cross training.
It's brilliant.
Isn't it?
It's cross training helps. It doesn't get you aerobic just for one sport. So you could just turn it around and do anything.
Well, look, I love him, but you know how much I hammer Hayden. But look how strong Hayden's been this year.
Yeah.
That's down to his cross training, where he trained for that triathlon he did, that cricket that he did, the T100, the other thing, the swim, the serpentine, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's purely, how strong he ran in Berlin, 3:19 at his age. 72 years old. To run that time is unbelievable.
And with those little legs.
Those little legs and those big feet. It's honestly, and it's the cross training. The other thing that I don't think is written in training plans, I know some of the apps cover it, which is good. And to give, I suppose, Runner some credit. I wasn't picking on them, but I'm sure there's stuff on there about nutrition, for example, in those apps. Same with Cooper and things like that. I speak about it as a coach anyway. But getting that right in your marathon training, everyone talks about carbohydrates, carb load and all that sort of stuff. That primary fuel source for marathon runners. Yeah. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables, all that sort of stuff, right? Protein, though, don't underestimate the protein in terms of muscle repair. It's really important. Lean meats, eggs, dairy, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I know you can get it in shakes and things like that, but natural protein is really good. Healthy fats, Tobe.
Avocados.
Support long-term energy use, young man. But avocados, olive oil, all that sort of stuff. Nuts. Drive me nuts, but don't underestimate that. And then obviously putting that nutrition into your long runs as well. Now they can come in the form of gels, energy bars, whatever you want to do, like Kendall, Mint. You just go 40 runs, you're welcome. But you need to get that fueling right as well. And it's very hard. It's not written anywhere in those training plans about how to get your fueling right and stuff like that. Nutrition, hydration, electrolytes. There's nowhere it says, doesn't say in any training plan that I've seen pulled off the shelf, and I've used them, by the way, for the first marathons that I was doing. Doesn't say in Chris, you need to be making sure you're taking electrolytes on. But then at the Yorkshire Marathon, mile 3, I did a salt tab. Yeah, so that doesn't tell you that anywhere, but be aware of it. It's really important. The nutrition and the hydration side of things. If you I think we said it in the last episode we did of this show. If you get that right, it can make a huge difference. But if you get it wrong, like as I said, I use the great example of having too much beetroot the night before, Tobe. You can come unstuck, can't you, Tobe? Or you could get into a fight in a bar if somebody was having that in their pasta. Do you know anyone who got into a fight in a bar, Tobe?
I do, but sometimes that helps other people, especially if there's beetroot for lunch on that occasion. But
yes.
I think nutrition is hard, and as you say, and I think one of the biggest things that people think is just eat a load of carbs the night before.
Yeah,
and it's one of the worst mistakes you could ever make.
Yeah,
to overeat carbs, and it's something. Say you talk about the little man. Again, it's something I've learned off him is that you see him the week before a marathon. He is constantly eating. He puts me to shame.
No, Tobe, nobody does.
Okay, well, he probably eats the right things, right?
Yes.
But he's constantly, he literally walks around with a jacket with about 15 different pockets, just pulls a bagel out or a saurine bar. So in the whole week leading up to a marathon.
He's constantly eating.
But it makes sense. When more you look into it, whereas you say, when you first start, you go, I have a massive bowl of pasta the night before, that'd do me.
But it doesn't say it anywhere, Tobe. It doesn't get spoken about.
But also, it's trial and error because every single person is different. So it takes time to figure out what the right foods are for you and when the right times to take them are. And like we practice them. I think it's really interesting because you practice doing it on your long runs. You practice when you're taking gels, how many, which gels, or whatever fuel you're taking, right? Bars, sweets, dates, whatever. How much do people really practice eating in the run up to a long run? So you're actually preparing.
I do quite a lot.
Yeah,
But it is hard. It's like it's working out how much beetroot is the right amount. Because you know, if you have too
How many
little,
cakes you should have, Toby?
how many what?
Cakes.
How many cakes? Well, I'm quite good at cakes, but it's the same with everything, isn't it? It's, you have too little, but you need to find that balancing point where then you've got too much, so it's going to affect you the other way.
It is true. Look, my serious point, to sort of put my serious cap on again, is like it's. Oh look, see what I did there?
why you done that?
This is a podcast, and no one's going to see
Toby,
what
I
you're
like
doing.
that. I just pressed the button by accident. I was looking for something else. It's my ADHD. I was just starting playing around with the buttons. Anyway, no, but my point is that again, you don't. It's not spoken about. It's not written anywhere on any training plans. That's what I was trying. That's why I put it in and included it into this because it's not included anywhere. So look, and actually, I think the next thing that's on my list is also not spoken about, and that's rest and recovery.
Yeah.
Nobody talks. Yeah, all right. There's rest days in there, right? But does it say you should do no running? Because you shouldn't. You should have a complete rest day, at least like one complete rest day, depending on what you're doing. But also active recovery days, like walking. We always like walking, or even like you have a real dedicated stretching.
Yeah.
30 minutes, and also sleep. Like again, does it say on there target a certain amount of sleep throughout your marathon training process? I always talk about the amount of sleep, but 7 to 9 hours, perfect. I know some people can't get that, but the more sleep you get, the more the recovery you're going to get. It doesn't say that in the training plan anywhere, but you really need to focus throughout your whole training plan on sleep. It's the most important thing, to be honest with you. You know, if you get the sleep right, you're going to be recovered. You're going to be healing in that as well. Not just your body, but your mind. So you're fresh to go again. So don't underestimate the rest and recovery. It's not. I don't think it's written anywhere in those training plans. And the emphasis on sleep.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is mind fatigue more than anything else. You obviously did your physical exercise, and obviously sleep is a big part where your mind gets to rest. And stop playing with buttons. Where your mind gets to rest, and then you repair it, and that means you can go and you can hit that next session at the intensity you're meant to, and not sort of, use the word lightly, underperforming that session, let's say, and then you're not quite hitting the target, so you're not getting the full effect that session was made to do.
Correct. I think the last sort of piece of the jigsaw in the marathon training 101 that's not spoken about, and I think a lot of this stuff that we've gone through is not stuff that you would necessarily find, is tapering. Yeah, it's that last part before race day. Now, tapering, if you didn't know, is you're reducing your mileage, yeah? You're reducing your intensity, you're reducing the mileage down so your body can fully recover. You're not overtrained, undertrained. It's trying to get you in a sweet spot. And I'll be straight up with you. You're not going to get it right the first time. You're not going to get it right the second time. It will take a few. Typically, it's 2 to 3 weeks. But again, everybody's different, okay? And you're looking to reduce your mileage 20, 30% per week. Within that, right? Again, everybody's different. Now, some people, I mentioned intensity. Some people maintain the intensity. I reduce it. That's just me. But some people reduce the time. It's a very personal thing. I reduce the sort of speed element. So if I've got a regular interval session, I may switch that out for a tempo run. Yeah, in that first week of the taper, because it's less intensive. But that's just me, and that's what I've learned to do. And this is where experience comes in. Obviously, coaching that lot can guide you, whatever. But getting the taper right is a bit of a dark art, right, Admin?
Very. And it takes time, and it feels really uncomfortable, especially the first time, because you think you've built up 13, 15, 16 weeks, however many, training and running and being in this routine and going, right, I've got to do all this stuff. You still need routine, you still need regularity, but it takes a lot to actually let yourself rest and work your way down, because you almost think this is counterproductive. I've done all of this training, now I'm going to lose all the fitness. You two are like little kids.
No, sorry, I mean,
Anyone listening, you've basically got Chris and Toby pressing different buttons each, and the screen's just moving around.
We make everyone feel sick. No, but you're right. It's so hard. Honestly, a taper is so hard to get right. It really is. It's one of the toughest things to do. And honestly, that
I think the other thing about you can obviously only practice it when you're doing a race.
No.
So it's that thing is that you have to do a race to be able to do it. So you don't get to do it very often.
Yeah.
No, it's like, but look, the most important thing I would say in a taper is to stay relaxed. Yeah, because you can get your knickers in a right old twist. Yeah. Again, well rested. Go back to my sleep and all that sort of stuff. I think you can only cock it up. Yeah, if you're sensible, you won't go too far wrong. If you think yourself, actually, I could probably always be on the cautious side of the argument with what you should and shouldn't do. I think if you always take the sort of sensible, the cautious avenue relative to the session, I think you'll be just fine. If you think, well, maybe I shouldn't do that, well, don't swap it out for an easy run. Don't get me wrong, you still want to turn your legs over, yeah? You don't want to drop mileage bang like that. But at the same time, you don't want to be overtrained. You don't want to be overcooked. You don't want to be overtired. You don't want to be fatigued. So it is a balancing act. There's not a sort of silver bullet that we can give you. But what I can say to you is just stay relaxed through it and don't overthink in that period. Yeah. And just get through it. I think that's the sort of the key. I think, look, key takeaways for everyday runners. See what you think about this. Start with realistic goals, which we've said. And here it comes. Consistency is key. You knew that was coming at me. Prioritize rest and recovery.
Yeah.
Fueling, hydration, nutrition, we said it. But most importantly, trust the process. It's always that week, right, that you'll come into, and it could be week 6, it could be week 5, it could be week 8. I can't do this. I can't run more than 10 miles. I can't. This 5K feels so hard. Why does this 5K feel so hard? You get that, but you will get through that.
Yeah.
And you will go through the other side of it, and then you'll look back and you'll go, "Oh, yeah, you know what? That was like whatever. A few weeks ago. Now I feel like a hero. I feel like I run this." So just again, trust the process. I mean, if you was to give yourself one tip in terms of starting out on that marathon training journey, what would you tell yourself?
Well, it's too. Oh God, it's so hard thinking of taking one. The one is trust the process and trust the plan, because know that you can do it. If you don't trust that and you don't have that confidence to go, I will get there, then you're almost setting yourself up to fail. I think the mental part of it is much tougher than the physical part, because if you trust the plan, you trust the process, you build up slowly, you will get there. It's your mind that will stop you and tell you can't.
Type.
Just don't be too hard on yourself. It is a hard thing to do. So you've got to be, if you don't quite hit that session, you miss a session. I mean, as you say, it's the everyday runner thing, right? It's you're not going to be able to hit it bang on. Yeah. It's just let it go. Don't go, I've missed that. I've screwed up the whole plan. It doesn't work like that. Plans actually made, there's stuff in there you can miss, and that there's a reason they're so long and they have so many sessions and types in. Just don't be too hard on yourself and take it, because as soon as you start stressing about it, your mind's going to go and everything. You're going to start going the other way.
Yeah, I think be kind to yourself, but also believe in yourself. I think that's the sort of thing. Have the confidence and the belief in it. Right. So next week we'll be back. Admin will be married, and we should get Mr. Admin on, don't you think, Type? Because he does more running.
What, do you mean he runs?
Yeah, I mean, he but technically, even if he put his shoes on, he'd be doing more running than that.
Is there a pre-wedding shakeout? Yeah, it's a bit weird because we already had the wedding, but was there a pre-wedding shakeout?
There was, yeah.
Was there? Who organised it?
Mr. Admin.
Mr. Admin organised it, right?
He invited his select friends.
How many?
Just one, me.
Oh, not me.
No, apparently he's got something against people who eat beetroot. Right, okay, team. We shall be back. Carnage will be resumed live whenever that is. I've got no idea. But we will be back then. I've got no idea what we're talking about. Make sure you're joining me. Make sure you're joining me live on a Monday, whenever you can, at 8 o'clock. That's pretty awesome. I'm live every Monday
Jeez.
on the live stream on the YouTube channel. It's really important that you come in. Coaching questions, whatever you want to do, just make sure you join us. I don't think there's anything else to add. Type, I've really cocked it up now.
I thought,
No, look, I could do that. It's brilliant. Right, we've got to go because all we're doing is cocking about. We shall see you next week on this award-winning podcast. Make sure you leave us a really nice review. And Tom, I've got to do the outro, and I was about to say,
stop pressing buttons.
Stop pressing buttons. Right, say bye, boys.
Bye.
Bye.